Court is back for 2025 here at Maitland Local Court. So what did the court deal with during the first week for 2025? We know there were court cases here this week because there were about 130 people published on the court list. And it's the police that brought these here. Yes, the police have been policing around Maitland. And looking at the list, there were at least 60 new cases created since the new year started, of which I think about 10 appeared this week as fresh custodies. The rest will appear in the coming weeks. But do we know what any of the cases were about this week? Yes, one name on the list is the New Year's Eve police pursuit guy. We know about that one because the police issued a media release about this case and the media published a story. But as for the rest of the cases, well, I can't find any police media releases or newspaper stories about those cases. So Maitland, we are left to our own devices, meaning we're going to have to listen from the courtroom gallery if we want to find out what these cases are about. If you were in the gallery at Maitland Local Court this week, you may have heard details about the following criminal cases. You would have heard the reasons why the guy who allegedly spat on a McDonalds worker back in July 2024 was refused bail. He also allegedly did a few other offences. You would have heard that there has been a blowout in the hearing diary and extra days have been added at Newcastle for Maitland to do some hearings. Also, you may have thought that you were at Cessnock Local Court rather than at Maitland. Why? Because the usual Cessnock magistrate was at Maitland. I'm not sure where the usual Maitland magistrates are, I don't dare ask. You would have heard about the woman, her brother and her neighbour, and which one of them was charged with assault, occasionally grievous bodily harm. The only details of the backstory heard was that the woman is in a same-sex relationship, which is inferred is the basis of the comments the neighbour allegedly has been making to the woman's kids, therefore the reason why the brother attempted to intervene. Then there's the guy who was caught mid-range drink driving, but you'll need to be in the gallery to hear if the court called up the CCO he was on at the time for a previous affray at a licensed premises. How many weeks did the court adjourn one defendant's sentencing to allow her to give birth? One defendant announced to the court that he was an idiot for high-range drink driving, but did the court agree with him? There were two women who appeared separately, both charged with affray, but was it for the same public fight? There were two guys that crashed into each other. However, they couldn't work out who was supposed to give way, so which one gets charged with failing to give way? Which one? They were both charged. What about the guy who has only had his driver's licence for a couple of years, whose traffic record does not assist him? During the sentencing, the magistrate went through the list of convictions: dangerous driving, drive disqualified, and of course, police pursuit. He hasn't been in custody yet, but with the offences mounting up, you had to be in the gallery to find out if he got jail this time. So many of these offences are petty crimes. Is it important or worthwhile that we, the general public, hear about how the court dealt with these cases? I'm going to argue yes, we should have the option of hearing about stuff that happens inside the courthouse. Why hear about petty crimes? To deter us from doing petty crimes. Or we could just listen to the defendants debriefing very loudly outside the courthouse. You could hear them from the gallery inside, and they didn't sound very happy about the sentences they received. Some seemed to expect to get their licence back and didn't. And there are a few $1,000 fines given out. Ouch. The whole world of jail really doesn't sound very grand. Maybe I should just observe from outside the courthouse rather than inside. So what will the cases be about next week at Maitland Local Court?